somewhere out there, maybe a billion light years away. Maybe in the empty air beside you, there may already be a wall. You cannot see it, you will never see it. It is thinner than an atom and it is moving toward you at the speed of light. It carries no sound, no heat, no warning. It is not made of matter, it is made of a different set of physical laws, and where it passes, our universe stops existing. Physicists have a quiet, almost reluctant name for it. They call it false vacuum decay. And the unsettling truth is this: if it has already begun somewhere far away, in the deep past, then the end is not a question of if, it is only a question of when the wall arrives. Watch the edge, it does not burn what it meets. It does not destroy in any way you could film. It rewrites it. The boundary you're watching is a seam between two versions of reality, the one we live in and a deeper, more stable one waiting underneath. An entire galaxy gone, not exploded, not scattered, simply unmade, in less time than it takes to say the word. And the most terrifying part is the silence, because this wall travels at light speed. The light that would warn you of its approach arrives at the exact same instant the wall itself does. There is no flash on the horizon, there is no countdown in the sky. You would never know it was coming. You would never know it had come. This is the story of the most absolute end that physics allows, and why, right now, as you watch this, it may already be on its way. To understand the wall, you first have to understand what everything is made of, not atoms, deeper than that. Modern physics tells us the universe is not, at its core, a collection of particles. It is a collection of fields, invisible, restless layers of energy stretched across all of space. Every particle you have ever touched is just a ripple, a vibration in one of these fields. And one of these fields is special. It is called the Higgs field, and it fills every cubic centimeter of the cosmos, including the space inside your body. As particles move through it, the Higgs field drags on them, and that drag is what we experience as mass. Without it, electrons would weigh nothing, atoms could not hold together, and you would not exist. The strength of that field, the value it holds everywhere, sits at a very precise number, 246. Here is our universe, resting at the bottom of this valley. Everything feels permanent here. The constants of nature hold steady. Stars burn, chemistry works, life happens from the inside. This looks like the lowest, calmest, safest place reality could possibly be. The ball is at rest, nothing is pushing it, all is well. But the calm is an illusion of perspective, because over here, just past the hill, there is another valley, and it is far, far deeper. A lower energy state, a more stable configuration of the universe than the one we live in, and in physics there is an iron rule: everything eventually wants to fall to the lowest point it can reach. This is the heart of the nightmare. We are not sitting at the bottom of reality. We are sitting on a ledge halfway down a mountain, in what physicists call a false vacuum, a place that feels like the bottom only because a hill is blocking the way to something deeper. The true bottom, the true vacuum, lies on the other side. And this is not science fiction. When physicists measured the real mass of the Higgs boson and the real mass of the top quark and fed those numbers into the equations, the answer that came back was chilling in its calmness. Our universe is not definitively stable, it sits in a knife-edge condition they call metastable, stable enough to last, but not stable forever. The ledge is real, the deeper valley is real, and only the hill is keeping us here. So what could possibly push us over? Look at this hill. To roll our universe up and over the top, you would need a staggering, almost unimaginable amount of energy, far more than anything in nature seems able to provide. In a purely classical world, an old-fashioned clockwork universe, this hill would protect us forever. We could rest in our valley until the end of time. But we do not live in a clockwork universe. We live in a quantum one. And in the quantum world, walls are not the obstacles they appear to be. A particle facing a barrier, it has no energy to climb, does not have to climb it at all. It can simply vanish from one side and reappear on the other, as if it walked straight through solid rock. This is quantum tunneling, and it is not a theory, it is happening inside the sun, right now. It is how your phone's memory chips function. It is real. The reason is one of the strangest facts in all of science. A quantum object does not have a single definite position. It exists as a spread out wave of possibility, and that wave does not stop at the wall. It leaks through, it sins, but it does not end. Which means there is always a tiny non-zero chance, a chance you can write down as a number, that the object is found on the far side of a barrier it could never have crossed. Now apply this to the Higgs field itself. The field fills all of space, and at every single point it is sitting in our false vacuum held back by the Hill. But quantum mechanics says that at any point, at any moment, by sheer probability, the field can tunnel. It does not need a cause, it does not need a trigger, it does not need permission, it only needs a single location anywhere in the entire universe to roll the dice and lose. And the field has had a very long time to roll those dice. It has been rolling them across an entire universe, at every point in space, for nearly 14 billion years. So far we have been astronomically beautifully lucky, but luck is not the same as safety. All it takes is 1.1 bubble one time, and the bubble once it is born does not stay small. The moment a bubble of true vacuum forms, the universe does the one thing it always does. It falls towards a lower energy state, and the difference in energy between our false vacuum and the true one is colossal. All of that energy is dumped instantly into the wall of the expanding bubble. The wall doesn't just grow, it is driven outward with unstoppable force in every direction at once. And how fast does it expand? The physics gives a single awful answer. The wall accelerates almost instantly to the only speed limit the universe has, the speed of light itself. This is not an explosion that slows down as it spreads. It is a boundary that races outward forever at 300,000 kilometers every second, and never tires and never stops. Watch what it does to a galaxy. It does not blow it apart. It passes through it like a blade through nothing, and on the far side of that blade, the galaxy simply no longer exists in any form we could recognize. 200 billion stars, trillions of worlds, every story they might have held, erased along a perfectly straight line, in perfect silence, at the speed of light. This is why physicists, only half joking, have given it that grim nickname, the death bullet. Because of one merciless detail, the wall moves at the speed of light, and so does any warning, any flash, any radiation, any signal that the wall is coming. All of it travels at exactly the same speed as the wall, which means the news of your death and your death arrive together in the same instant. You cannot see it coming, you cannot detect it, you cannot run, because nothing in this universe can outrun light. Every telescope we have ever built is pointed at a sky that could even now be showing us stars that have already ceased to exist, their final light still in transit, the wall following silently behind it. We would have no last moment, no final glance, only an ordinary instant, and then nothing at all. But what actually happens inside the bubble? When the wall passes over you, you are not burned, you are not crushed. Something far stranger occurs. You cross over into a region where the laws of physics themselves are different. And to understand what that means, we have to talk about what holds you together. Remember the Higgs field, sitting everywhere at the value 246, the value that gives particles their mass inside the bubble. The field has fallen into the true vacuum and it sits at a completely different value. The instant the wall passes, that number changes, and every particle that depends on it changes with it all at once, everywhere inside the boundary. The mass of the electron, the particle that defines the size and shape of every atom, could double or vanish to nothing. The masses of the quarks inside every proton and neutron could be rewritten, and the forces that bind them, that delicate balance that lets a proton exist at all, would shift. The result is simple and total. Every atom that you are made of, every atom in every star, would lose the conditions that allow it to exist. Chemistry, as a possibility, would end. Not break down, slowly end. The bonds that make water, the reactions that make life, the structures that make stone and steel and starlight, none of them could form, because the particles they relied on would no longer behave the way they used to. The matter of the old universe would dissolve into a uniform haze of new physics. This is the part that defeats the imagination. The universe inside the bubble does not look like a wasteland, because a wasteland still has rules we'd recognize. It is something else entirely, a clean slate of physics that may not permit complexity of any kind. No stars, no planets, no chemistry, possibly no structure that could ever again become aware of itself. And so, the great cosmic ending is not the fire we always pictured. There is no grand explosion. There is no battle. The universe does not go out with a roar. It simply stops being what it was, quietly, completely, irreversibly. It does not die, it unbecomes, and the new reality that replaces it carries no memories that we were ever here at all. So, should you be afraid? Here is the strange comfort that physics offers in return for all that dread. The same equations that allow this catastrophe also tell us how unlikely it is in any given moment. The chance of a fatal bubble forming near us in any given year is so small it borders on the meaningless. Our vacuum may be metastable, but its expected lifetime could be longer than the current age of the universe multiplied by itself, many times over. The universe might endure for trillions upon trillions of years before a single bubble ever forms. Long enough for 100 trillion more generations of stars. Long enough that the question may never matter to anyone who will ever live. We do not know if the death bullet exists. We do not know if it was ever fired. We only know that so far it has not reached us. And maybe that is the point. We have spent this entire journey afraid of a wall we cannot see, but turn it around. The fact that you are here, that atoms hold together, that chemistry works, that a planet warmed by a steady star could give rise to something that wonders about its own ending. All of that depends on this fragile pocket of reality staying exactly as it is. Every quiet, ordinary day is a day the dice came up in our favor. Our existence is not guaranteed by the universe. It is permitted by it, temporarily, conditionally, against staggering odds. That doesn't make it frightening. It makes it precious. The stability we stand on is not a birthright. It is a gift we did nothing to earn, balanced on the edge of a deeper valley we will hopefully never see. So look around you at this strange, stable, improbable corner of reality you are lucky enough to be born into. The stars still burn, the atoms still hold, the wall has not come, and whether it arrives tomorrow or never at all. The universe gave us this a moment of order in an ocean of possibility, and minds quiet enough to notice it. If this look into the edge of reality gave you a new way to see the ground beneath your feet, subscribe and stay with us. There are stranger truths out here in the dark, and we are only just beginning to find them.